Hey, I'm not sure I'll ever do normal test proctoring again. This seems way more convenient, but I did want to go through some of the things for ACT proctor training. And just a reminder, if everybody will do this, so that way we have some backups if we need it. But the ACT is Tuesday, February the 23rd, so it's coming up fairly quickly. And it's all juniors. We have less taking the ACT than we do the SAT. And you should have also seen in Hill Happenings the list of students who are taking the ACT and the SAT. So on the day of the ACT, if you will make sure that you get to school no later than 8 o'clock, I will be there earlier. I'm going to have all of the testing materials outside the NPR. This is a little different, but we're all down there testing. Nobody is up near that hallway, and there's just not as many materials. So I'm going to have them, I'm going to wheel them down to the NPR, and I will have them all outside the NPR. And so if you can pick up and sign out your materials from there, and that's also where you will bring them back to me when you are done. Here's the timing for the ACT so you can just kind of see what it looks like if you're in a bigger group. If you're in a small group, I'll make sure to mark that in your booklet for you. But it's about 4 hours. So ACT proctor training, what should you not do? You should not be grading papers, using your camera, cell phone, computer, nothing like that. You shouldn't be talking, anything that's not directly related to the administration of the test. Also, this is new this year. No watches. Like they don't want any smart watches or anything else like that. So if you wear one of those, you might need to, if you make sure it's not beeping or turn it off or put it in the bucket. Students also will not be able to have their watches either. And again, it's no watches. Like it doesn't matter if it's an older watch or whatever. ACT has said no watches in the testing environment. I don't know why. You can take that up with ACT. And I also realize that this may be inconvenient if you get your steps in while you're proctoring. But again, no watches in the environment. Yes, to reading the manual verbatim to students. Make sure you're not giving them additional timing cues. Make sure you're wearing quiet shoes and clothing so that you're not, don't wear your windsuit pants and have the as you're walking or the clicking of your heels or whatever. Make sure you are walking around to kind of monitor progress and behavior. Only allow one student to use the bathroom at a time, and please be on time. Because we're in short periods and we're swapping in and out so that you can have some of your planning period and just so that we're all doing it together. And so that way, if you make sure you're on time so that you give everybody the next person their good amount of time. Your responsibilities are to count the test booklets. ACT is very specific about making sure that the test booklets are kept in sequential serial number. So if you are at the beginning of the proctoring or the end of the proctoring, if you will please make sure that those stay in order. And again, distribute the test materials, keeping the test booklets in sequential order. You should snake the test booklets, meaning you go up one row and down the next, but those have to stay in order. So don't just randomly throw them up and start passing them out or split them up amongst whoever's in the room. They have to stay in sequential order. Fill out the test administration form booklet. I'll get to that. I'll show you some examples of an example of what that looks like in a minute. Please make sure you don't leave anything unattended and that everything is collected and accounted for before you give it back to me. And again, it has to be in that sequential order of how you passed it out. So ACT again is just really specific about making sure that everything stays in order. Filling out the test administration form, you're going to need the first and last serial numbers of the multiple choice booklets and the writing test booklets. Okay. And I will write this down too before I give out the materials, but you need to make sure that you double check me. So, first and last serial numbers of the multiple choice and the writing test booklets. You record the starting time, you record 5 minutes remaining, and the stop times for each test, which is also different than anything that College Board asks you to do. But you have to record what time you start, what time you tell them they have 5 minutes remaining, and the stop time. The seating chart is also different for the ACT. You don't need the student's name. What you need is their multiple choice booklet numbers and their writing booklet numbers. So you can see a picture of what their test administration, what their seating chart looks like right here. And for the people who are in the NPR, I'll have a bigger version of this in your booklet. But this is what it looks like. So you don't actually need the student's name. You can if you want to. That way we can, if something happens, we can go back and look at it. But what you really need is they want the multiple choice number booklet and the writing number booklet. And you can see here too, for your room report that I'm asking you to do, you have to write in the first serial number and the last serial number and the total number of booklets. So you have to do this before the test. So when I give you the material, you need to make sure you do this. And then before you give it back to me, you have to do it again. Okay. And the answer documents. Here you got to make sure to fill out the timing, and because we're kind of flipping in and out, just make sure that if you're the first person, you may want to go ahead and fill in all of those times, but it's start time, 5 minutes remaining, and your stop time, and then it has the timing chart down there for you. If you have an irregularity, if something weird happens, don't panic. Like, it'll be fine. You will be required to fill out an irregularity report, and I can help you with this. It's not hard. Just don't panic on me. The most important thing I just need you to do is to collect the material from the individual, separate it from everything else, and just secure it and make sure you let me know. So if something happens, I've had kids like throw up, I've had kids leave and not come back because they've gotten sick, all kind of things. So if anything weird happens in your testing room, don't panic. Just take their testing materials and put it to the side, and we will fill out the irregularity report and all of that later. Just take a deep breath. Lunch forms. There will be a lunch form in your testing material because all of these tests will go past lunch. Miss Tisdale in the cafeteria asked us, they have some choices, and that's filled out as soon as possible. So if you will make sure that you do that like before you start testing, you can do it as they're coming in the testing room on your first break. And then get it back to me. And I will, if not, I'll come and get it from you as well. But make sure you are please filling out these lunch forms so that we have enough food set aside and cooked for the students who want it after testing. Returning materials, again, ACT is very specific about making sure that everything is in sequential order. So please count all the materials before you return them to me. Make sure they are in the correct order, and then return the materials to me outside of the NPR. That's where I'll be. If you have questions, comments, concerns, my cell number is right there. I'll distribute test materials to those individuals that need them at the end of the next week. Please make sure you fill out the proctor acknowledgement form by Monday, February 22nd. And again, if you have any questions, you can email me or text me or email and let me know. Thanks.